To make homemade pistachio paste, you're gonna need 1 cup of pistachios. If you want to make a larger batch and use it on other items, can absolutely do that. You're just gonna want to keep this in the refrigerator. I'm gonna go ahead and take my roasted pistachios, and I'm just gonna put this in my food processor. You could use a kitchen prep. If you decided to do this in a blender, it's gonna take quite a bit longer, but you just want to mix this in the food processor until it turns to a paste. That could take quite some time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. It has been exactly 3 minutes, and we're starting to get a paste. The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you wanted to take your roasted pistachios before you put them in the blender or in the food processor, and rub it between a kitchen towel to get some of the shell off, you can do that. Not the shell, the skin. You could definitely do that. I like the toasty flavor profile that it adds. I elected not to do that. You could certainly do that. So you can see we're getting a paste at this point. And I'm going to very carefully scrape because I don't want to. I'm actually going to just take the blade out so that I can give this a good scrape. I'm always worried that I'm going to nick with the silicone spatula, and I have a piece of spatula in my product, which I don't want. I'm going to put my blade back on. You can see that it's pretty crumbly at this point, so I'm going to keep going. If you want it to be more fluid, then you could add a little bit of vegetable oil, but I'm just going to keep going and kind of see where I get consistency wise before I go that route. All right, it has been another 3 minutes, and we are definitely getting a much thinner consistency. This is looking really good. So depending on what you're using your pistachio paste for will kind of dictate how thin you want it. This is actually a pretty good thickness for what I'm going to use it for, which is going to be making a pistachio frangipane paste. So this looks really good. I'm going to use this for filling in a cranberry pistachio twist loaf. This looks good. I'm just gonna scrape this all down. See, let's see, that was 10 minutes, and this is a great thickness. So one thing to note that if you do buy pistachio paste pre-made, this particular brand, you need to knead it to get the oils to reincorporate. But if we do a little look-see here in terms of texture, you can see this is pretty darn close. This is a tiny bit thicker, and then obviously the color is a little bit different just because I left the skin on. But this is a great alternative to buying pre-made pistachio paste, which can be expensive. If you're using a dry measuring cup, 1 cup of roasted shelled pistachios will yield you about 4.5 ounces of paste. Now, this pistachio paste here, I've got a little bit here on my finger, you can see that it is much darker in color, and I don't really see any flecks in it like this one, and that's because there's no skin. The manufacturer made this one, it was just roasted pistachios, no skin. So mine has skin in it. I feel like taste-wise, to me this has a ton of flavor, and the skin kind of adds a nuttiness to it. If you want to make your own pistachio paste, I feel like this is the way to go. If you're concerned about the skin being in it, you can take the nuts and roll them in a clean dish towel to kind of get some of that skin off. There's other methods too. You could boil them and then rub them between a towel to remove the skin. Like I said, I like the nuttiness of it, so I'm happy with this. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it, and I will store it in my refrigerator until I'm ready to use it. When I am ready to use it, I will let it come to room temperature before I mix it in. That's it.